we have Rexy back for a little surgery. We have done a really good job this time, but I am going to sort all of this out. He may need a bit of a skin graft. I'm gonna start with stitching him up first and getting all that stuffing back inside him, and hopefully bring him back together. So to begin with, I am going to need to push all of the wadding back into him and just double check if all of those holes can be closed and if I can put that back together. So I'm going to do that with a really sharp curved needle with a really good point to it and do my best. Sometimes I'm going to have to make new holes because the old ones are torn, so that's what I'll be doing. So I'm having to make bigger holes for me to be able to thread through the thread that I'm using. It's an extra strong beading thread that you use just to give him added extra strength, and the tool I'm using here is just called a tapered awl. Just helps to make the holes a bit bigger. As you can see, Rexy's skin is quite thick in areas, so I don't want to cause any more damage. So if I create new holes, it will save any more of him ripping. So I've managed to rescue most of Rexy's mouth, and we're going to now have to stitch along here. Because his skin is so thick, I have to use an actual pair of forceps to help me pull the needles through. My hope is that I can just stitch that closed and it will help hold that mouth all together. But I do feel like at this end I may need to do a little bit of a skin graft for him. But for now, he seems to be coming back together. So I brought Rexy home for some more intensive care because I'm going to need to try and stitch up all these bits and bring that all back together. But he does appear to have lost a substantial amount at the front of his face, which is probably somewhere either in outer space or inside a cannon somewhere in the US. So I have a little bit of leather that I'm going to try and fix this issue up with because it's closer to him. Otherwise, we do have a donor. So I'm hoping I don't want to have to use this guy, but if I do, he may just have to be a face donor for Rexy. So Rexy's still in intensive care here. I've unfortunately already gone through one of these curved needles, so I'm going to need to bring out the big guns and get a bigger curved needle for him. And this, I've managed to pull his mouth back together, so that's stable and going to stay. And then next I'm going to start working on the top part of this nose so I don't have to put too much in, but definitely he is missing a nostril. So somewhere in the US there is a Rexy nostril, I would suggest. But yeah, moving along to this area now with a new bigger needle and more thread. Let's see what I can do. So unfortunately, after a couple of hours work or a few hours work, I was unable to pull back what was left of Rexy's missing portion. So I've had to use the donor Rexy, who is fine and who will be out of his surgery later, to give him a little bit of a skin graft. So I'm now sewing those on with yet another needle. This is a nice big doll needle to help me get through all of it. So yeah, bit difficult on the hands, and I have to stop from time to time just to rest them a little bit, but it's coming together. I've stitched more holes up in his body as well, so progress. So there's the skin graft all done and attached, but as is quite common when you're repairing different things, you fix one problem and it creates another. So I had to go right back in and sort out Rexy's mouth again as well. So if ever you need to clone me, there's a fair amount of my DNA and blood in this guy, but the skin graft seems to have worked quite well. I don't actually want to alter it, and normally I would blend it all in, but I like that it's obviously the donor's portion of skin. So hopefully the guys will be happy with that. And I have to go now and fix the tail as well. So here are the guys. So this is Rexy, who is now all sorted out and fixed up and looking very handsome. I've managed to close up the hole in his tail. I actually think the skin graft makes him look really cool. And then in recovery down here is Dee Dee, the nickname I am now giving this little dinosaur, short for Donor Dinah. So Dee Dee it is from now on, also in recovery and doing well. But yep, thanks again guys for trusting me with this precious little guy, and hopefully you're happy with the job I've done. Thanks guys.